Theta and the soldiers are shocked that Adonis didn't show up, and they don't know where he is. Adonis and Doroka are in the wastelands. As Adonis changes the location of the transfer, he begins planning the destruction of the Rhedia Empire and procures information and supplies on their way there. Doroka wants to go back and scold Adonis for his behavior. Adonis sees what Doroka tries to do and understands why the witches don't like Doroka, as she wants to reconcile with the humans. Adonis says Chloe's life is more precious to him than all of humanity, and the world that took her from him deserves to be destroyed. Doroka says to Adonis that she won't tell him to forgive them for what they've done, but if he continues with his revenge, it will shatter his heart, and he'll end up like the humans who took Chloe from him. Adonis bleeds from his injuries, and a group of bikers find them. Adonis wakes up in a strange town and is met by a town leader named Punch. The residents are people from developing countries, such as refugees and slaves who have escaped from Rhedia. Later in the evening during the party, the people fall asleep as Adonis changes the alcohol's formula and leaves Doroka due to not wanting her to end up like him. Punch reveals to Doroka that he knows who Adonis is, as in the past he was dying until Chloe and Adonis saved him. Punch is one of the humans who didn't go against the witches. Punch says Adonis will choose revenge, even if it leads to his death. Doroka won't let Adonis die and goes after him on the motorcycle. Adonis and Doroka travel together. In the Rhedia Empire, the coronation of Dorothea as the new monarch of Rhedia begins. Dorothea's love magic causes many men and women to fall under her spell as she becomes Rhedia's idol. People in another nation are also watching her broadcast. They are commenting that Dorothea, who is a witch herself, has exterminated her own kind while ruling the world. During this, the agency and Theta are executed by Dorothea's soldiers. Shirosagi is in the wastelands to find Adonis. Adonis tells Doroka that he is not going to stop seeking revenge, and Doroka tries to suggest not fighting kind people like Punch and his friends. They arrive in Sandland Town, which is in ruins. They go through a police station, and they hear someone singing. They find a man in a cell. Adonis asks him if there is a metropolis nearby. He tells them about the city-state of Mamuta. Doroka says they can't leave him there, but Adonis tells her the cell is unlocked and the person in the bed is the man's deceased wife. Their next destination is Mamuta. Adonis and Doroka arrive at Mamuta, where it looks to be abandoned. They see a woman on the ground who turns out to be a robot. Adonis says it is a Madoa, a mechanical doll created as a plaything for humans. They go to a room where a bunch of them are making love to a corpse. These Madoa are made by Rhedia. Somewhere, two kunoichi named 5 and 6 kill Rhedian soldiers. Adonis tells about the slave trade back in Rhedia. It wasn't easy for this nation to import many Rhedia sex robots, so they offered their own women in exchange for more dolls. Mamuta probably exported all the women in their nation to the Rhedia Empire. They let go of their wives and daughters so they could purchase sex robots. 5 and 6 arrive, and Emperor Suzure instructs them to capture anything that might help keep Rhedia in check. They go to capture Adonis, but Shirosagi meets them and they attack him. Adonis and Doroka are met by Shirosagi, who destroys the motorcycle and has killed 5 and 6. He introduces himself to Adonis and is here for his head. Charmy is monitoring the group, and Adonis sees how he messed up as Rhedia has found him. Adonis fires bullets at him, and Shirosagi dodges them. Doroka uses her love magic to stop Shirosagi, but it has no effect on him. He is surprised that Doroka is using a love spell. They wonder how Shirosagi is able to move, and he shows them the heart symbol on his chest. Shirosagi uses his cyborg abilities to release his technique, Hummingbird. Adonis gives Doroka a sword and equips himself with armor to fight the Hummingbird technique. Doroka almost gets Shirosagi, but hesitates to kill him, thus allowing Shirosagi to punch both Doroka and Adonis hard. Shirosagi manages to restrain Adonis and grabs Doroka by the hair. She thanks Adonis for walking by her side. If she could have one wish, she would wish that they could have seen more sights together, as her eyes were brutally crushed by Shirosagi. Doroka screams in agony, and Adonis experiences a déjà vu. Doroka falls as her eyes are ripped out, and she has lost her sight. Shirosagi messes with her eyes and then destroys them. This enrages Adonis and he attacks him. Adonis and Doroka hide themselves. Adonis burns her face to stop the bleeding. Shirosagi searches for Adonis, and both Adonis and Doroka come back at him with a giant robot. Adonis is knocked unconscious, and Shirosagi begins to beat Doroka. A flashback shows that when Shirosagi met Dorothea by chance, Dorothea told him about something and became her slave. Shirosagi then says the world doesn't need two of the same witch, even if it's just from the ensemble verse. Doroka doesn't know what Shirosagi is talking about, but she tells him to leave Adonis alone. Shirosagi brushes off her words and only cares about taking Adonis's head. Realizing he's outmatched, Adonis tells Doroka to cast the love spell on him to fight back. Doroka's memory shows when the witches learned of Doroka's love magic and mocked her, which led to her being desperate to be a good witch. Adonis tells her not to worry, as this won't make him fall in love with her. Doroka uses a technique called Nightfall that makes Adonis move very fast. It also heals his wounds and makes his magic limitless. Adonis is powered up. Shirosagi is frightened by his power boost and tries to flee, but Adonis summons the Quinn Blade, which hits and cuts Shirosagi. Adonis overpowers Shirosagi, and as his magic and physical strength increases, Adonis rips him apart and begins using a spell that Chloe taught him. Shirosagi tries to stop him but fails as he gets frozen by the spell, signaling his defeat and ending the battle. The spell freezes the entire city and across the wasteland. Charmy has lost the video and signal over them, and they see the power of the spell from the satellite. Oz sees how powerful Adonis is after defeating Shirosagi. Chloe's spirit shows up and hugs Adonis. He sees her one last time as she vanishes. As he is dying, Shirosagi tells Doroka that they look just like them. Adonis tells Doroka that he will find a way to fix her eyes. In the Radia Empire, Dorothea is jogging, and the citizens are worshipping her. Dorothea asks if they have received responses from the crowns in the other nations. The tyrannical Dorothea says if they won't listen to her request, she'll declare war on them. Somewhere else, Doroka is sad that she used her love spell on Adonis, as his heart and feelings are for Chloe, but she directed them towards her. Adonis tells her not to regret it, as he told her to do it. Adonis uses a bandage to cover her eyes, and Doroka begins to fall for him, but Adonis tells her Chloe is the only one for him, and her love spell had no effect on him. They continue their journey while holding hands. Yuki has finally regained consciousness and has been turned into a cyborg.